Disney's done it. We finally have an opening date for the Adventureland Treehouse. Disney has confirmed the official opening date of the Pixar Place Hotel while also providing new images of what else we might find when it's finished. They've built a Haunted Mansion bar. Meanwhile, it looks like they've got some competition in the Snow White movie department. How will that go? And speaking of competition, Universal is not letting up one bit, with more details being revealed for their upcoming horror-themed entertainment district under construction now in Las Vegas. And then stay tuned at the end for a special update on Magic Keys. And this just did, before we get into any of our news stories, as I was recording this, as I was recording that intro, I was just advised that Disney has announced the opening date for the Adventureland Treehouse, November 10th, the opening date. We actually called this. We called that this would happen in our last construction update. We said that we're at that point now, I think, where we're going to be hearing from Disney any day now. I compared it to our Tiana's Palace update when we saw them sweeping things up. We said, look for an announcement soon. I said the same thing about the treehouse in our last construction update, and there we go. We got an opening date of November 10th. That's the first day of the Christmas season, of the holiday season, so you can bet we'll be there taking a full tour. Stay tuned, by the way, to our next construction update on our main channel, because I spotted some of the theming elements that we're going to find in the treehouse when it does open, and so we'll get a sneak peek at that. But then stay tuned to Fresh Baked for the grand reveal, the grand opening on November 10th. We'll be there on that day. Now, let's get into the news as we found it today. January 24th, 2024. That's the official opening date for the Pixar Place Hotel. Of course, we know it's been open for quite a while now, actually. I don't know what they were doing. This is the longest soft opening in the history of openings, it seems like, because it's been open for months. But never mind that. Let's take a look at what else was included in this update from Disney. We got our first look at what appears to be a standard double king room. And while it's not super well themed, I do have to say it looks better than I was expecting. The recent updates, at hotels around Disney parks have set the bar pretty low. So this looks better than I was expecting. It's minimalist, just like the lobby and exteriors, but with flourishes of classic Pixar scenes. I rather like the blue walls myself. Too often we get very generic walls in hotels, and I kind of like adding color in places like this, but just the one wall, which I think is ideal as opposed to doing the whole room. One blue wall looks great. Otherwise, the room looks fairly standard. Here's the pool, water slide, and splash pad. Pool also standard, but the splash pad looks like it could be a lot of fun for kids. And then near the pool, guests will find these fire pits, also inspired by Pixar films. Jack Jack from The Incredibles, and naturally, Anger from Inside Out. Great idea, great choices, great execution. I really love this. And then here again, I love the variety in the color palette. Lots of solid but contrasting colors, minimalist. Not sure how much the kids will love it, but I do. Story. That's the name of the store. Now, we've seen the inside of the store before. They opened the store up along with the hotel a while back, and we saw the inside. But now we have a name. And again, I love it. Well, do I just call it store? Or is it story? I don't know. Ooh, story. You get it? The gym gets a minor upgrade with a Monsters, Inc. mural. It's fine. Better than 4 white walls, to be sure. Now, we've been stopping by the hotel recently and have noticed more and more details being added progressively. More art, more color. It's getting more finished. Now, the announcement from Disney included also this concept art, so I have to assume that though it's still not present in the lobby, as we know it today, it will be here eventually. They wouldn't have included that concept art if they still weren't planning to do that. I think that Pixar ball would look quite a bit better here as you enter the hotel than this plant does. So that would be an upgrade. Still waiting for the Great Maple Restaurant. Disney says it will open in November. So what are we, just a few weeks away? Counting the days until I can get one of these maple bacon donuts. Those are 3 of my favorite things. Maple, bacon, and donuts. And I wouldn't mind at all trying the buttermilk fried chicken or the Cajun shrimp and cheddar biscuit Benedict, though it's not pictured here. It does look like this is going to have a fairly robust menu, though, so looking forward to it. Stay tuned to Fresh Baked as we'll be updating you on information as it becomes available with regards to the restaurant and more happening at Pixar Place Hotel. Until then, let's talk about one of the best ideas that Disney has ever had. They built a Haunted Mansion bar. Good news is that it looks like they went all the way. Very impressive looking, to be sure. Bad news is that you can get a drink there only if you book a cruise on the Disney Treasure cruise ship. But let's just pretend that you do. Will you do anything else while on that cruise other than drinking these all night while sitting in this chair? This is the video that Disney used to sort of announce the Haunted Mansion bar, and I have to believe this is an actual hallway leading into the bar. And if so, we're off to a wonderful start, because that's terrific. That looks great. I mean, unless it's some sort of fancy editing here, but that door is opening up, revealing, the couch and bar that we see in the art as well. Fireplace with green flame and a demon clock on the mantle. Well done. Does that look familiar? That's a really nice touch. I really enjoyed that. That might be my favorite feature of this whole room. They've got their very own changing portrait, and very well done at that. That looks great. There's the chair we saw a minute ago again. Beloved among all Haunted Mansion superfans. If you love the Haunted Mansion, you love that chair. Imagine being able to sit in that chair and drinking one of those drinks, watching, forgive me, candlelights flicker or portraits going through a metamorphosis. I can hardly wait for the videos that come out of this. People who are, the first early adopters, as it were, for the Disney Treasure cruise ship. I'll check with Peter and Kitra. I'm sure that they put this on their short list of things to do. I'll check with them. I'm sure their videos will be fantastic coming out of here. Looks like they're also offering Haunted Mansion bar merchandise. They've got a parlor music box. This is, by the way, exclusive to the Haunted Mansion bar on this cruise ship, this parlor music box. And it's unique to the parlor. That's what they're calling the bar, a parlor. It's unique, meaning you won't find this in the Haunted Mansion anywhere. And it belonged to the captain's bride-to-be. As per Disney's update, thank you very much again, Disney, for acknowledging the captain in this regard. Got a grandfather clock inspired by, not the grandfather clock, but inspired by the one found in the Haunted Mansion. And a ghostly mirror. All of these are to be found only on the Disney Treasure, the cruise ship. You can't find these anywhere else, so you not only can you only get these drinks and see this bar on the cruise ship, you can only buy that merchandise there. Let's talk next about Disney's new Snow White movie, the live-action Snow White film that is currently in post-production. It's a live-action remake of the Disney classic, and it's been getting a lot of attention of late in the news for a while now, and practically none of it good. It's drawing a lot of criticism from a variety of places, from all sides. Some of it related to the set photos that were released. Some of it related to Rachel Zegler, the star Snow White. Her comments regarding the character and the original film that it's based on. Her comments have been difficult to digest for a lot of fans out there, and I have to admit that I don't fully understand the set photo. But production presses on. They're in post-production, as I mentioned, and rumor has it, as I hear it, that the film is going to wind up costing about $400 million. So that's another thing that people aren't happy about, is how much Disney is spending on these films. That alone is the basis for a conversation that we had in a previous video about the hostile takeover or the attempted, proxy war that's going on. And part of the complaints that people are having, Disney investors, et cetera, is how much Disney is overspending on these productions. But that's a lot of money. It's a safe bet that the film won't even make that much. So I understand where that's coming from. But the reason why I'm talking about it today is because the Daily Wire, it turns out, is also making a Snow White movie. We got a teaser trailer last week, but it's very interesting to me for a couple of reasons. First, they're making a film targeting an existing Disney property, one that is very closely identified with the Disney company, with its history. It's a very bold move on their part. Now, again, this is just a teaser trailer, but it's clear that they're trying to hit similar notes to the Disney animated film. The color choices present in the short clip, blue and red, obvious basket of apples, iconic. There's woodland creatures, and there's the blue and red notes again, and then a slow focus reveal into Snow herself. Contrast that with this set photo, and Disney's got their hands full trying to figure all this out. However, I should note that that's just one photo from the set. It doesn't tell anything at all about the kind of movie that they're making. And do also note that we have this set photo of that star Rachel Zegler, behind the scenes wearing her Snow White costume. I mean, that looks very close to the original outfit worn in the original film. It's a much better representation of Snow White as we know her than the Daily Wire is trying to put out. So it's possibly way too early to try to determine or figure out where this film sits in relation to the original, the classic Snow White film. The Daily Wire isn't exactly known for their extensive film library or even for making films in general. I think they've only just started doing this. And I mean, I don't know anything about their films, to be honest. And it does feel more like trend jacking than an actual interest in making a Snow White movie, if you know what I'm saying. It feels like they're using this just as a means to attack Disney. And if it is the latter, then are their hearts really in the right place? And I feel like that's a very important question, because when it comes to making a good movie, what is your motivation? Like, what is the point of making it? Do you want to entertain, or are you trying to make a point? Now, I know it's popular right now to rage against Disney, to be upset with them, to be mad at them, and certainly they have earned some of that. But I have to say, this film does not really feel like a real threat to me, especially considering all we have is, a very brief teaser trailer. Speaking of competition, though, Disney does have their hands full with Universal Studios. We all know about the big story happening right now in Orlando, where Universal is building Epic Universe. It's getting a lot of attention for its impressive scale and rapid development. The worksite is on fire with activity coming into shape before our very eyes at a pace never before seen by theme park fans. Epic Universe is going to be a tremendous force in the Orlando theme park scene, something Walt Disney World is very much going to need to deal with at some point. Can Disney stand pat with Walt Disney World, or do they have to have some kind of response for, well, not just Epic Universe, but also an up-and-coming, a continually improving situation at Universal Studios Florida? They have 2 parks there, and they've got oh my gosh, the update coming up for Islands of Adventure sounds amazing. So Disney, I hope you're ready. But that's not why we're here. Again, while they're building Epic Universe and while they're planning their expansions to Islands of Adventure, they're also building a new experience in Las Vegas, Universal Horror Unleashed. And this was something announced by Universal back in January, but last week, Universal released a statement announcing the official name, Universal Horror Unleashed. It's part of a major expansion of the Area 15 entertainment venue, which, by the way, is quite amazing. If you're ever in Vegas, I highly recommend to those looking for something a little bit different. Liz and I checked it out. We were very impressed. This experience from Universal will be a year-round, permanent location that will have multiple Halloween Horror Night style houses, and it will be designed by the same team, in fact, that does Horror Nights. So you can expect the same level of artistry there, which is very high. From the press release, Universal states that this is part of the company's ambition to introduce new products to new audiences and new markets. That's a really interesting statement, because they're not only just trying to build more theme park, but they're trying to do it in ways that they're trying to get more people into the fold and through multiple kinds of experiences, not just theme park, not just traditional theme park, but things like Universal Horror Unleashed. Meanwhile, they're also trying to build a family-focused theme park, something that they're also not very known for. Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Studios Florida or Orlando, those are more adult-oriented, adult-themed destinations. This family-oriented theme park they're building in Texas it's still in an infancy, but it's something that they're planning to do. So they've got a lot of things going. They are being very aggressive in trying to compete and match or surpass the Disney company in terms of being the premier destination for themed entertainment. Universal Horror Unleashed will be the anchor tenant in a new 20-acre expansion of Area 15, and it's believed that its setup will be quite like that which is used now for Area 15. Multiple large individual sites inside the single building, maybe 4 or 5 houses is my expectation, and they're going to build those around dining locations, restaurants and bars in the middle, and you can bet that those locations will also be horror themed. And again, I have to compare this to what we experienced at Area 15. It was great. I loved it. The food was good, the drinks were good, and the entertainment was great. So all that and more. Actually, that's just part of the expansion. It's the anchor. The Horror Unleashed is just the anchor of a much larger district. I don't know what to compare it to, something that we might have here, but like a city walk type situation, that's the best comparison that I can make. Other bars, other dining locations, other retail experiences as well. So 2025 is going to be a very interesting year for both Universal and Disney. It's going to be a dogfight. I can't wait to be there. I can't wait to check some of this new stuff out, and I also can't wait to see if Disney does have any kind of response. They've been talking all about concept art and ideas and blue skying stuff, but do they have anything that they can even announce officially? Not just blue sky. Do they have anything that they can announce to compete with that? We'll see. Finally, let's wrap with a Magic Key story. I got a survey the other day, and I'm telling you about this survey because it was focused directly and solely on the Magic Key program and the reservation system. How would I rate my overall experience with the Magic Key program? Not great. Well, will I renew? Yes, of course. I still love Disneyland. No matter how the parks are run by management, etc., I still love Disneyland. So I will renew every year. Here we go. Does the Magic Key program understand the things that I want? Strongly disagree. It's curious, though, that they asked the question that way, the Magic Key program, as if to say it's the program's fault, not the Disney company. But obviously, the question should ask, does Disney understand the things that I want? Does the Magic Key program care about its members? Again, it's the program's fault. Does Disney care about its members? Strongly disagree. Magic Key allows me a more affordable way to visit Disney Resort. Undeniably, yes, obviously. At least for me, but not for everyone, but for me. Disney appreciates me as a Magic Key holder. There we go. Does Disney appreciate me as a Magic Key holder? Thank you. Still, the answer is no. Unfortunately, the survey did not ask us to elaborate on that or give us an opportunity to express ourselves. It was just a yes or no type question. So allow me to do that here. Disney, I don't think that you appreciate me as a Magic Key holder because I feel more used and manipulated than appreciated. You don't need the reservation system. And I speak about that as it relates to the Magic Key program. You don't need it. There are no limits on attendance right now. You don't need to control the crowd levels. You don't need to know how much merchandise or food or staff to have on hand. You've been doing this for 60 years. You know. You knew before and you still know. The only reason why the reservation system exists with relation to, and again, I mention this with respect to Magic Keys because there is no reservation system really for single day tickets. It's wide open every day. The only reason why you have it is so that you can control us. And that doesn't make me feel very appreciated. Let's get back to the survey. How often have you been able to make the reservations you wanted? I'm a freak, so it's not fair to ask me that. I watch the calendar all the time, every day. I spam that button like crazy. But you guys answer. How often do you get the dates you want? How often do you give up on a date that you wanted but couldn't get? How long does it take you to abandon all hope? Are you visiting more or less often than you were expecting? This is kind of a trick question because I have a feeling that one of the problems that Disney is experiencing is that guests are visiting more often than they want, Magic Key holders. They are getting there more often than they expected. The whole point of the Magic Key program is to operate under the gym membership model. You sell somebody a year's worth of access to a thing, a gym, and then hope that they don't show up. Except you've got the reservation system. The reservation system has weeded out the casual guest, the no-show type guest, leaving only the die-hard true believer types like me who are now with the reservation system has created more urgency and tried to take advantage and capture dates that with more vigor than they did previously. It's a new kind of guest that Disney has created, one that they weren't expecting to create, and frankly, I can't understand why they can't see it. Or if they can see it, why they're not doing anything about it. And if they can see it and they're not doing anything about it consciously, why? This has been a burning question in my mind for a couple years now. Why? Why are they clinging to this model that is clearly affecting, I believe, their revenue? Here we are in October of 2023, and I'm still asking why. I don't get it. Express yourself, Fresh Baked, in the comments. Express yourself. I want to hear from you. I will answer any questions or comments you have on this topic for the first 30 minutes after we publish this video. Then, follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. And if you like our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/FreshBaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.